The transport ship broke through the atmosphere of Valora Prime, and Tay pressed his face against the window. Crystal spires reached into the purple sky, each one taller than any building on Earth, his stomach twisted with nerves. This was humanity's last hope, and somehow they had chosen him to be their voice. "Stop looking so worried," Sung said from the pilot seat. "You'll do fine." Tay laughed without humor. "I'm a combat engineer, Sung. I build bridges and bunkers. I'm not supposed to negotiate with alien empires." "That's exactly why they picked you," Hana called from the back. "Politicians already tried. They failed. Now Earth needs someone real." The ship landed in a courtyard made of something that looked like diamond. Guards in silver armor surrounded them immediately. Each guard stood at least 7 feet tall, their skin shimmering with blue and gold patterns. Tay felt very small as he walked down the ramp. A female Valoran approached. She was smaller than the guards but carried herself like royalty. Her skin glowed with soft gold light, and her eyes were completely silver. She wore robes that seemed to flow like water. "I am Lyra, Princess of the Valoran Empire," she said. Her voice was musical but cold. "You are the human ambassador?" Tay bowed the way he had practiced. "I am Tay, representative of Earth. Thank you for seeing us, Your Highness." Lyra studied him with those strange silver eyes. "Your people sent only 4 representatives. The last delegation had 20. Is this an insult?" "No, Your Highness," Tay said carefully. "This is honesty. We don't have time for ceremony. The Scourge has taken 3 more colonies. In 6 months, they'll reach Earth. We need your help." Something flickered across Lyra's face. "Surprise, maybe. Follow me." She led them through halls that made Tay dizzy. The walls showed images of space battles and conquered worlds. The Valorans had built an empire, while humans were still learning to make fire. What could Earth possibly offer them? The throne room was enormous. Hundreds of Valorans filled the space, all of them beautiful and terrifying. At the center sat a massive crystal throne. Empty. Lyra walked to a smaller seat beside it. "The Emperor is away," she explained. "I speak for the throne today. Present your request." Tay stepped forward. His hands were sweating. "The Scourge is destroying everything in its path. Earth doesn't have the weapons to stop them. But the Valoran Empire does. We're asking for an alliance. Help us drive back the Scourge, and Earth will stand with Valora against any future threats." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Several Valorans laughed. "What can humans offer us?" a male Valoran shouted. "You barely have space travel. Your weapons are toys. Your lifespans are nothing. Your entire civilization is younger than some of us in this room," another added. Tay felt his face burn. They weren't wrong. Earth had nothing the Valorans needed. "It's true," he said loudly. The room quieted. "We're young. We're weak. Our technology can't match yours." He paused. "But we're still here." "What does that mean?" Lyra asked. "It means Earth has faced extinction before. Ice ages, plagues, wars. Every time, we survived. Not because we were the strongest or the smartest." Tay met Lyra's silver eyes. "We survived because we never gave up. Because when something knocked us down, we got back up. Every single time." "Pretty words," someone sneered. "But words don't win wars." "No," Tay agreed. "But neither does arrogance. The Scourge adapts. They learn. Every time you hit them with the same weapon, they evolve. Your technology is amazing, but you fight the same way every time. Humans?" He smiled grimly. "We change. We adapt. We cheat if we have to. It's not honorable, but it keeps us alive." The room erupted in angry voices. Tay had insulted them, and he knew it. But he was tired of pretending to be diplomatic. Lyra raised one hand, and silence fell instantly. She stood and walked down to Tay, circling him slowly. "You have courage," she said. "Foolish courage, perhaps, but courage nonetheless." She stopped in front of him. "The Valoran way is strength. We respect power. What you describe sounds like desperation." Call it whatever you want, Tay said. It's what keeps us breathing. Lyra smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Then let's test this human resilience. I will offer you an alliance. But only if you prove your worth. Tay's heart jumped. What kind of test? The trial of spheres, an ancient Valoran tradition, she gestured, and a massive figure stepped forward from the crowd. He was nearly 9 feet tall, covered in scars, and his skin was dark purple. This is Kravik, my champion. He has never lost a trial. Kravik stared down at Tay with eyes like black holes. Beat him in the trial, Lyra continued. And I will marry you. Our peoples will be bound by blood and honor. The Valoran fleet will defend Earth. The room exploded with shocked voices. Even Tay couldn't process what he'd just heard. Marry? He managed to say. It is the strongest alliance in Valoran culture, Lyra said. Royal marriage binds 2 peoples forever. But you must earn it. Beat Kravik in the trial of spheres. Tay looked at the massive warrior, then back at the princess. And if I lose, then you return to Earth with nothing, and your people face the scourge alone. Lyra's smile widened. You have 3 days to prepare. The trial begins at dawn on the 4th day. She turned and walked away, her robes flowing behind her. The Valorans filed out, many of them laughing. Kravik remained, staring at Tay for a long moment before leaving. Sung rushed to Tay's side. Are you insane? Did you see the size of that guy? What choice do I have? Tay asked quietly. Day, their medic, shook his head. He'll kill you. This trial is probably combat. You're good, Tay, but you're not superhuman. Then I'll have to fight smarter, Tay said. He tried to sound confident, but his voice shook. Hana put a hand on his shoulder. We've got 3 days. Let's not waste them. As they walked back to their quarters, Tay caught sight of Lyra watching from a high balcony. She was still smiling. But now he thought he saw something else in that smile. Curiosity, maybe. Or perhaps she was already planning his funeral. 3 days. 72 hours to figure out how to beat an alien warrior who had never lost. Tay had faced impossible odds before. But never like this. Never with the fate of Earth resting on his shoulders. He just hoped his stubborn human resilience would be enough. Tay stared at the holographic recording for the 20th time. Kravik moved through his opponent like a force of nature. Crushing. Breaking. Dominating. The trial had lasted less than 5 minutes. The other competitor had been a trained warrior from a heavy gravity world. Kravik had destroyed him. Stop watching that, Sung said. You're psyching yourself out. I need to understand how he fights, Tay replied, rewinding the recording again. Their quarters were small but comfortable. Too comfortable. The Valorans probably thought these would be the last nice rooms Tay ever saw. Hana worked at a terminal, trying to learn more about the trial. Day organized medical supplies, preparing for the worst. A chime sounded at the door. Tay opened it to find a female Valoran standing there. She was young, her skin glowing with soft blue light. I am Rena, she said stiffly. I have been assigned as your attendant during your preparation period. We don't need a babysitter, Sung said. Rena's expression didn't change. It is tradition. All challengers receive an attendant. I will provide food, information about the facility, and ensure you don't break any rules. Come in, Tay said, ignoring Sung's glare. Rena entered and looked around their quarters with barely hidden disdain. You understand you will die, yes? Humans are weak. Fragile. Kravik will break you quickly. Thanks for the encouragement, Hana muttered. I speak truth, not encouragement, Rena said. Why did Princess Lyra make this offer? It makes no sense. You cannot win. Maybe that's the point, Tay said quietly. Maybe she wants to show her people that humans aren't worth saving. Rena looked at him with surprise. You think this is a demonstration? What else could it be? Tay asked. She knows I can't beat Kravik. Nobody can. So when I fail, she can tell her father, the Emperor, that she tried. But humans are too weak for an alliance. Rena was silent for a moment. You are more intelligent than I expected. I'll take that as a compliment, Tay said dryly. Tell me about the trial. What exactly am I facing? I cannot give you specific advice, Rena said carefully. That would be against the rules. But I can tell you what is public knowledge. She pulled up a holographic display. The trial of spheres has 3 stages. First is the tactical sphere, a test of strategy and intelligence. Second is the endurance sphere, a test of survival and willpower. Third is the combat sphere, a test of strength and skill. And Kravik is good at all 3? Sung asked. Kravik is perfect at all 3, Rena corrected. He has trained since childhood. His biology is enhanced. He comes from a world with 3 times Earth's gravity. His reflexes are faster, his strength greater, his pain tolerance higher. So I'm dead, Tay said flatly. Rena hesitated. Almost certainly. She paused. But there is something strange. I watched recordings of Kravik's previous trials. He always wins the same way. Overwhelming force, superior technology. He assumes his opponents will fight with honor, following Valoran traditions. Tay's mind started working. He expects a fair fight. All Valoran warriors do, Rena said. It is our way. But Tay isn't Valoran, Hana said slowly, catching on. He doesn't have to fight fair. That would be dishonorable, Rena said, but her voice was uncertain. Earth doesn't have the luxury of honor, Tay said. We've always been the underdogs. You think humans got to the top of our food chain by fighting fair? We used tools, traps, intelligence. We cheated evolution itself. Rena looked conflicted. I should not help you. It is not proper. Then don't help, Tay said. Just keep telling me about public knowledge. Over the next hours, Rena shared what she could. The tactical sphere was a massive 3-dimensional maze with defense systems and objectives. The endurance sphere simulated hostile environments from different worlds. The combat sphere was exactly what it sounded like, a fight to the finish. Tay's team worked through the night. Hana found technical specifications for the trial arenas in the public database. Sung plotted possible strategies. Day prepared medical treatments for injuries Tay would definitely receive. And Tay studied every recording of Kravik he could find. A pattern emerged. Kravik was brilliant, powerful, and experienced. But he was also predictable. He relied on his advantages, never adapting when things went wrong because things never went wrong for him. He's never had to improvise, Tay said. He's never been desperate. And you have? Rena asked. Every human has, Tay replied. It's what we're good at. On the second day, Lyra visited. She came alone, without guards, late at night. Tay was still awake, reviewing plans. You should be sleeping, she said. Can't sleep, Tay admitted. Too much to think about. Lyra walked to the window overlooking the Crystal City. Why did you really come here? The truth. I told you, Earth needs help. No, Lyra said. Why did you come? Why not a trained diplomat or a professional warrior? Tay joined her at the window. Because I understand what's at stake. I've seen the Scourge destroy colonies. I've pulled survivors from wreckage. I've watched people die. He paused. The politicians, they see numbers, statistics. I see faces. Real people who need saving. And you think you can save them by fighting Kravik? I think I can try, Tay said. Maybe that's all Earth has ever done. Try. Keep trying. When everyone else gives up, Lyra turned to face him. Up close. She was beautiful in an alien way. Her silver eyes seemed to see through him. What do humans value most? She asked. The question surprised him. That's random. Answer it, Tay thought carefully. Each other. Humans value each other. We're tribal. We protect our own, even when it costs us everything. Valorans value strength, Lyra said. Power, victory. We respect those who dominate. Sounds lonely, Tay said. Something flickered across Lyra's face. Pain, maybe. It is tradition. The strong rule. The weak serve. And yet you're here, talking to me, Tay said. One of the weak ones. Perhaps I am curious, Lyra said softly. Before Tay could respond, she left. On the third day, Tay barely slept. His team finalized their plans. They had advantages. Small ones. Hana had found ways to hack some systems remotely. Sung had memorized environmental patterns. Day had drugs that would keep Tay functioning through pain. Rena returned that evening with food. She looked nervous. Tomorrow you will probably die, she said. You really need to work on your motivational speeches, Sung said. But Rena wasn't joking. I have watched you prepare. You are clever. But cleverness may not be enough. Kravik has killed challengers before. He does not show mercy. I don't need mercy, Tay said. I just need a chance. Rena pulled out a small device. This is against the rules. If I am caught, I will be punished. She handed it to Tay. It contains full schematics of the trial arenas. Hidden passages. Weak points in defense systems. Everything. Tay stared at the device. Why? Because Princess Lyra asked me a question yesterday, Rena said. She asked what I thought of humans. I told her you were weak and would lose. She paused. But then I watched you. You do not give up. You do not accept defeat, even knowing you will probably die. You keep planning. Keep fighting. She met his eyes. That is not weakness. I do not know what it is, but it is not weakness. After Rena left, Tay's team studied the schematics. New possibility. The arena was massive, carved from the same crystal as the rest of the city. Thousands of Valorans filled the seats, their excited voices echoing like thunder. Tay stood in the preparation chamber, trying to keep his breathing steady. Through the transparent wall, he could see Kravik warming up. The giant warrior moved with frightening grace despite his size. Communications check. Hana's voice crackled in his hidden earpiece. It was tiny, almost impossible to detect. I hear you, Tay whispered. Remember the plan, Sung added. Don't try to match his strength. Use your brain. Day's voice was worried. I've got medical standing by. Try not to need it. A Valoran official entered the chamber. The first trial begins in 5 minutes. The tactical sphere. He gestured to a screen showing the arena transforming. Walls rose from the floor, creating a 3-dimensional maze. Capture 5 objectives before your opponent. Use any means necessary, except direct combat. You may not physically harm each other in this trial. Got it, Tay said. The official studied him with pity. You are brave but foolish, human. Kravik has never lost this trial. He completes it in an average of 12 minutes. There's a first time for everything, Tay said, sounding more confident than he felt. The walls lowered. Tay stepped into the arena, and the crowd roared. He looked up at the royal box where Lyra sat beside an older male Valoran who must be the emperor. Lyra's face was unreadable. The arena had transformed into a maze of platforms, tunnels, and floating sections. Objectives glowed in different locations, marked by pulsing lights. Defense drones hovered everywhere, ready to stun anyone who approached without the right access codes. A horn blared. The trial began. Kravik immediately charged forward, his powerful legs launching him toward the nearest objective. Defense drones targeted him, but his armor absorbed the stun blasts. He was built like a tank, simply pushing through obstacles. Tay went a different direction, following Rena's schematics. There were maintenance tunnels the drones ignored. He slipped into one, moving quickly through the narrow space. His smaller size was an advantage here. First objective is on the upper left platform, Hana guided him. Kravik is going for the center one. Tay emerged from the tunnel and sprinted across a bridge. A drone spotted him and fired. He dove, rolled, and kept moving. The stun blast missed by inches. He reached the first objective, a glowing crystal he needed to touch. His hand connected, and the light changed color. One down. Kravik had already captured his first objective too. The giant warrior moved to the second one, with brutal efficiency. He's faster than expected, Sung warned. You need to pick up the pace. Tay climbed to a higher level, using handholds that would be too small for Kravik. He reached the second objective, but a defense drone blocked his path. Instead of fighting it, he threw a piece of debris in another direction. The drone swiveled to investigate. Tay sprinted past and captured the objective. 2 down. But Kravik had 3 now. The crowd was cheering for their champion. Tay could hear them chanting Kravik's name. He pushed the sound away and focused. Hana, can you do anything about these drones? Working on it, she replied. A moment later, several drones near Tay's position powered down. That'll buy you 60 seconds before they reboot. Tay used the window to capture his 3rd objective. But Kravik was at 4 now, approaching his 5th. Tay was going to lose. Change of plans, Tay said. He studied the arena layout. Kravik was heading to the final objective on a high platform. There was only one bridge leading to it. Tay ran, his legs burning. He reached the bridge first. Kravik saw him and roared in frustration. You cannot fight me here, Kravik shouted. The rules forbid combat. I'm not fighting you, Tay said. He pulled out a small device Hana had built and attached it to the bridge controls. I'm just making things difficult. The bridge retracted. Kravik was trapped on the other side. He could find another route, but it would take time. Tay sprinted to the final objective and captured it. The horn blared. The trial ended. The crowd fell silent. Then angry voices erupted. Tay had won, but not the way Velorans expected. In the royal box, the Emperor stood, his face dark with anger. But Lyra was smiling. Just slightly. The trial is complete, the official announced. The human wins the first sphere. Kravik smashed his fist into a wall, leaving a crater. His eyes burned with rage as he stared at Tay. There are still 2 more trials, he growled. You will not survive them, human. Tay was escorted back to his chamber. His team was waiting, celebrating. But Tay knew better than to feel confident. He had won through tricks and terrain. The next trials would be harder. That was brilliant, Sung said, slapping Tay's back. That was luck, Tay corrected. The endurance sphere starts tomorrow. I can't hack my way through survival. Rena entered, looking shaken. The court is furious. They say you cheated. I followed the rules, Tay said. They said use any means necessary except combat. I did. Valorans value honorable victory, Rena said. What you did was clever, but not respected. I don't need respect, Tay said tiredly. I need to survive 2 more trials. That night, Lyra visited again. She looked amused. My father is very angry, she said. He believes you made a mockery of the trial. I followed the rules, Tay repeated. Yes, Lyra said. That is what makes it so interesting. Kravik is stronger, faster, better equipped. But you found a way to win anyway. She circled him slowly. This is what you meant, isn't it? About human adaptability? Partly, Tay admitted. We can't match you in strength, so we use what we have. Intelligence, creativity, stubbornness. The endurance sphere will be different, Lyra warned. It is a test of pure survival. Your tricks will matter less there. Then I'll find new tricks, Tay said. Lyra stopped in front of him. Do you want to know a secret? I hoped you would win today. Why? Because Valoran warriors have won the same way for centuries. Overwhelming force. Superior technology. We have forgotten how to think creatively. She paused. The Scourge adapts. They learn. They evolve. Our traditional tactics are failing against them. We need new strategies. And you think humans can provide them? Tay asked. I think you already did, Lyra said. Today you showed that victory is not always about being the strongest. Sometimes it is about being the smartest. She left, and Tay sat alone with his thoughts. 1 trial down. 2 to go. Each one would be harder than the last. The endurance sphere was tomorrow. Tay studied the data Rena had provided. Hostile environments, extreme temperatures, dangerous creatures, everything designed to break a person's will to survive. Kravik would have advantages there too. His enhanced biology could handle extremes. But Tay had something Kravik didn't. He had been to war zones on Earth. He had survived in deserts, frozen mountains, and toxic ruins. He knew what real desperation felt like. The endurance sphere was worse than Tay had imagined. The arena had been transformed into a nightmare landscape. Half was freezing, covered in ice with winds that cut like knives. The other half was scorching hot with pools of acid that bubbled and steamed. Between them was a zone of toxic rain and predatory creatures bred to hunt. You must retrieve 3 artifacts, the official explained. 1 in each zone. You have 6 hours. If you fail to collect all 3, you lose. If you surrender, you lose. If you die, he shrugged, you lose. Tay looked at his equipment. Basic survival gear, a protective suit that would help but not solve the problems. Across the staging area, Kravik stood ready. His suit was more advanced, his gear better. But more importantly, his body was built for this. He came from a world that made this arena look mild. The horn sounded. Kravik charged into the toxic rain zone immediately. Creatures emerged from the shadows, things with too many teeth and claws. Kravik fought them with bare hands, his enhanced strength allowing him to tear through them. He was brutal and efficient. Tay went toward the frozen zone instead. The cold hit him like a physical force. Even with the suit, his breath came out in white clouds. He pushed forward, following terrain features that might offer shelter. Temperature is dropping, Day warned through the earpiece. Stay moving or you'll freeze. Tay found a path along ice walls that blocked the worst wind. His fingers were already numb. He spotted the first artifact on a platform surrounded by unstable ice. One wrong step and he would fall into the freezing water below. He tested each step carefully, distributing his weight. The ice cracked but held. He reached the artifact and grabbed it. One down. Through the haze, he saw Kravik emerge from the toxic zone, already holding his first artifact. The alien warrior barely looked winded. Tay moved to the hot zone. The temperature shift was shocking. From freezing to burning in seconds. His suit compensated, but not enough. Sweat poured down his face. The ground was cracked and unstable, with pools of acid that could dissolve flesh in seconds. Sung. I need a safe path. Tay gasped. On it. Move 20 meters left, then straight ahead. There's a rock formation that'll give you cover. Tay followed directions, his legs shaking from exhaustion. The heat was crushing. He saw the second artifact on a pillar surrounded by acid. No safe way to reach it. He looked around desperately. There were fragments of metal debris scattered around, probably from previous trials. He gathered pieces and constructed a makeshift bridge. It was crude, but functional. Crossing was terrifying. The metal was thin, bending under his weight. Below, acid bubbled and hissed. One slip would be fatal. He focused on breathing, on balance, on not thinking about the drop. He reached the artifact. 2 down. Kravik was already moving toward the toxic zone for his third artifact. Tay was falling behind. You need to hurry, Hana urged. He's going to finish first. Tay entered the toxic zone, and rain immediately soaked through his suit. His skin burned where drops touched. Something roared in the distance. The predatory creatures were hunting. The third artifact was visible through the rain, sitting on a raised platform. But between Tay and the artifact was one of the creatures. It was massive, with 6 legs, armored skin, and a mouth full of rows of teeth. Tay didn't have weapons that could hurt it. Kravik would fight it directly and win, but Tay couldn't do that. He circled around, looking for options. The creature tracked him with multiple eyes. It was fast and intelligent. Distraction, Tay muttered. He pulled out emergency flares from his kit and threw them in different directions. The bright lights confused the creature. It spun, trying to track multiple targets. Tay sprinted, his legs burned, his lungs screamed, but he pushed harder. The creature realized the trick and charged. Tay dove behind a boulder as claws scraped stone where he had been standing. He scrambled up the platform and grabbed the artifact just as the creature's jaws snapped shut behind him. He rolled away, falling badly, pain shooting through his shoulder. But he had all three artifacts. The horn sounded. The trial was complete. Tay lay on the ground, gasping for air. Every part of his body hurt. The toxic rain had left burns on exposed skin. His shoulder might be dislocated. He didn't care. He had survived. Officials helped him to his feet. Kravik stood at the exit, also holding three artifacts. But there was confusion on his face. He had finished first, but Tay had also completed the trial. It was a tie. Both challengers completed the endurance sphere, the official announced. The third trial will decide the victor. The crowd was quieter now. Tay had proven that humans could endure, could survive what should kill them. Some Valorans looked impressed. Others looked angry. Day met Tay as he left the arena, immediately checking his injuries. "You're a mess. Burns, possible dislocation, dehydration, and those are just the obvious problems. Can you fix me before tomorrow?" Tay asked. "I can try," Day said grimly. "But you're already injured for the final trial. Combat, where you'll face Kravik directly." Tay let Day work on his shoulder, biting back screams as it was popped back into place. Medicine helped with the pain and burns, but he would still be damaged going into the final fight. "You can't win the combat sphere injured," Sung said bluntly. "Be realistic." "I don't need to win," Tay said through gritted teeth. "I just need to not lose." "That's the same thing," Hannah protested. "No," Tay said. "Winning means defeating him. Not losing means surviving. Lasting. Making him work for it." That night, Tay could barely move. His body was shutting down from stress and injury. Day gave him drugs to help him sleep, to reduce inflammation, to prepare him for the next day. Lyra came late, after the others had gone. She looked at Tay's bandaged body with something like concern. "You should surrender," she said softly. "You have proven your point. Humans are resilient, but the combat sphere will kill you. Kravik has never shown mercy. If I surrender, Earth gets nothing," Tay said. "The Scourge wins. If you die, Earth still gets nothing," Lyra countered. "Maybe," Tay admitted. "But at least I tried. At least I didn't give up." Lyra sat beside his bed. "Why does this matter so much to you?" Tay thought about Earth, about the colonies he had seen destroyed, about the children he had pulled from rubble, about all the people who would die if the Scourge kept coming. "Because someone has to care," he said simply. "Someone has to stand up, even when it's hopeless. That's what humans do. We're good at hopeless." "You are strange creatures," Lyra said. But she wasn't smiling anymore. She looked sad. "I wish things were different." "They could be," Tay said. "After tomorrow, if I win." "You won't," Lyra said gently. "I have seen Kravik fight. He is unstoppable in direct combat." "Then I'll just have to find a way to stop the unstoppable," Tay said. Lyra stood to leave, then paused at the door. "For what it is worth, you have impressed me. Both trials, you found ways to compete when you should have been destroyed. That is worthy of respect." After she left, Tay lay in the darkness, staring at the ceiling. One more trial. One more impossible task. The combat sphere was pure fighting. No tricks, no technology, no escape. Just Tay and Kravik in an arena, fighting until someone surrendered or died. The combat sphere was a simple circular arena with nowhere to hide. No tricks, no technology, no escape routes. Just two fighters and a crowd of thousands waiting to watch Tay die. He limped into the arena, his body still damaged from the endurance sphere. Every step hurt. His shoulder was weak, his ribs bruised. Burns covered his arms. Tay had done everything possible, but Tay was fighting at maybe 60% capacity. Kravik entered from the opposite side, looking fresh and unstoppable. The crowd chanted his name like thunder. He was their champion. Undefeated. Perfect. The Emperor stood in the royal box. This is the final trial. Combat until surrender or death. No rules. No mercy. Begin when the horn sounds. Tay looked up at Lyra. She was staring at him with an expression he couldn't read. Fear, maybe. Or sorrow for what was about to happen. The horn blared. Kravik charged immediately, his massive frame closing the distance in seconds. His first punch came like a missile. Tay barely dodged, feeling the wind of the blow pass his face. The second punch caught his injured shoulder. Pain exploded through Tay's body, and he went down. The crowd roared approval. Tay rolled away as Kravik's foot slammed down where his head had been. He forced himself up, backing away, buying time. Stay away from his power strikes, Sung coached through the earpiece. Make him work for it, Kravik pursued relentlessly. He was faster than something that size should be. Another combination of punches. Tay blocked one, took another to the ribs. He felt something crack. The pain was blinding. He stumbled back, gasping. Blood filled his mouth. This wasn't a fight. This was an execution. Get up, Hana's voice cracked. Don't you dare quit. Kravik grabbed Tay by the throat, lifting him off the ground. Surrender, human. I do not wish to kill you. You fought well. There is no shame in surrender. Tay could barely breathe. His vision was darkening. He could surrender right now. Live. Go home. Earth would get nothing. But he would survive. He thought about all those people depending on him. All those colonies destroyed. All those children who wouldn't have a future if the scourge kept coming. No, Tay choked out. He slammed his fist into Kravik's elbow joint, the one weak spot in his guard. Kravik's grip loosened just enough. Tay twisted free, falling hard but free. Kravik's eyes widened with surprise. Then respect. You are stubborn. But stubbornness is not enough. The beating continued. Kravik was too strong. Too skilled. Every exchange left Tay more damaged. His left arm stopped working properly. His vision was blurred from blood. He could barely stand, but he kept getting up. Every time Kravik knocked him down, Tay rose again. Slower each time. Weaker. More broken. But he rose. The crowd's cheering started to change. Some Valorans were impressed now. This human refused to die. Refused to surrender. Why? Kravik demanded, frustration in his voice. Why do you keep fighting? You cannot win. Don't need to win, Tay gasped, blood dripping from his mouth. Just need to keep standing. He attacked again. Not with strength but with desperation. He went for joints. Weak points. Anything that might slow Kravik down. Most attacks failed. But some landed. Tiny damages that accumulated. Kravik was starting to breathe harder. Not from exhaustion, but from the effort of trying to finish an opponent who wouldn't stay down. This was lasting longer than any of his previous fights. Tay's legs finally gave out. He collapsed to his knees. Kravik stood over him, raising his fist for the final blow. I respect you, human, Kravik said, but this ends now. In that moment, Tay remembered something Sung had taught him years ago. A human martial arts move. Simple, but effective if timed perfectly. It required being close, on the ground, with your opponent overconfident. It required desperation. As Kravik's fist came down, Tay threw all his remaining strength into a single strike. Not at Kravik's head or body, but at his knee, the joint already weakened from Tay's earlier attacks. The strike connected perfectly. Kravik's knee buckled. The massive warrior, caught off balance mid-punch, fell. He crashed to the ground hard, his head striking the arena floor. Silence fell over the crowd. Both fighters lay on the ground, neither moving. Seconds passed like hours. Tay forced himself to move. Every part of his body screamed in protest. He couldn't stand, but he could crawl. He dragged himself toward Kravik, leaving a trail of blood. Kravik stirred, trying to rise, but his knee wouldn't support him. He fell again. Tay reached him, using Kravik's body to pull himself up, standing over the fallen champion. Barely standing, swaying, ready to collapse, but standing. The official stepped forward, checking Kravik. The champion was conscious but couldn't rise. His knee was damaged, his equilibrium disrupted from hitting his head. "The human stands," the official announced, his voice filled with disbelief. "The champion cannot rise. The combat sphere is decided. The human wins the trial of spheres." The arena exploded with noise. Some Velorons cheered, caught up in the impossible victory. Others shouted in anger, claiming it was luck or trickery. Tay didn't hear any of it. His vision was darkening. He had one more thing to do before he passed out. He looked up at the royal box, at Lyra, and tried to smile through the blood. Then everything went black. He woke in a medical facility, his body encased in healing equipment. Machines hummed softly, repairing damage that should have killed him. His team was there, relief obvious on their faces. "You crazy bastard," Sung said, but he was smiling. "You actually did it." "How long was I out?" Tay asked. 3 days, Day replied. "You had internal bleeding, fractured ribs, damaged organs, and about 20 other injuries. The Valoran doctors said any human would have died from what you endured. But I didn't," Tay said. "No," Hana agreed. "You didn't." The door opened. Lyra entered, alone. She looked different somehow. Less distant. More open. "Leave us," she said gently. Tay's team filed out. Lyra sat beside the medical bed. "You should not have survived. By every calculation, every probability, you should be dead." "Humans are good at defying probability," Tay said. "Yes," Lyra said softly. "I am beginning to understand that." She paused. "I must confess something. The trial was partially a test of humanity. My intelligence reports suggested humans possessed qualities we Valorans had lost. I needed to see if it was true." "You used me," Tay said, but without anger. He understood. "I did," Lyra admitted. "But you exceeded all expectations. You showed that victory is not always about strength. Sometimes, it is about refusing to surrender. When every logical mind would give up. That is what the Valorans have forgotten. We have become so powerful that we have forgotten how to fight when the odds are impossible." "And the Scourge?" Tay asked. "The Scourge adapts too quickly for our conventional warfare. We need new strategies, creative thinking. The kind of desperate innovation that only comes from fighting uphill battles." She smiled. "The kind humans have been fighting their entire history." "So the alliance?" Tay pressed. "Is approved," Lyra said. "My father, the Emperor, was impressed, despite his anger. The Council voted this morning. The Valoran fleet will defend Earth and help drive back the Scourge." Relief washed over Tay. He had done it. Earth would survive. "About the marriage part," Lyra continued, a slight smile on her lips. "That was symbolic. A formal binding of honor between our peoples. You are not actually obligated to marry me." "Oh," Tay said. He felt strangely disappointed. Lyra's smile widened. "However, over the past days, I have found myself thinking about you often. About your stubbornness, your creativity, your refusal to accept defeat." She paused. "Perhaps some traditions are worth following after all." "Are you saying?" Tay began. "I am saying that I would like to know you better," Lyra said. "Not as an obligation, but as a choice. If you are interested." Tay laughed, then winced as his ribs protested. "I think I'd like that too." Over the following weeks, Tay recovered. The alliance was formalized. Valoran and human engineers began sharing technology and strategies. The combined fleet prepared to face the Scourge. Tay watched from the command center as the first joint operations launched. Valoran power combined with human adaptability. It was working. The Scourge, for the first time, was being pushed back. Rena visited him often, now a friend rather than an attendant. The court still argues about your victory. Some say it was luck. Maybe it was, Tay admitted, but I'll take it. I do not think it was luck, Rena said. I think it was something the Valorans needed to see. That strength alone is not enough. That sometimes the smallest, weakest fighter can win through sheer determination. Kravik himself came to see Tay, walking with a brace on his knee. The massive warrior bowed, a Valoran sign of respect. You fought with honor, Kravik said. Not Valoran honor, but human honor. You showed me that there are different kinds of strength. You're a worthy champion, Tay replied. I just got lucky. No, Kravik said firmly. Luck is what happens once. What you did, getting up again and again, that was not luck. That was will. That was spirit. He paused. I am honored to have fought you. Months later, as the combined fleet celebrated their first major victory against the Scourge, Lyra found Tay on an observation deck. They stood together, watching stars pass by. What is humanity's secret? Lyra asked. Truly? Tay thought about everything that had happened. About all the times humans had faced extinction and survived. About stubborn engineers building bridges under fire. About colonies that refused to evacuate even when the Scourge approached. About a species that looked at the impossible and said, "Watch this. We're too stubborn to know when we're beaten," he said finally. We've been the underdogs our entire history. Fighting against nature. Against disease. Against each other. Against everything. We've lost more battles than we've won. But we're still here. He looked at Lyra. We're good at losing and surviving anyway. Lyra took his hand, her golden skin warm against his. Then perhaps we have much to learn from each other. The Valorans can teach humans about power and technology. And humans can teach Valorans about resilience and adaptation. Sounds like a good alliance, Tay said. It sounds like more than an alliance, Lyra replied, her silver eyes meeting his. It sounds like the beginning of something new. Something neither species could achieve alone, Tay smiled. Earth was safe. The Scourge was being pushed back. And somehow, a broken engineer from Earth had helped unite two species across the stars, all because he refused to give up, even when giving up was the logical choice. That was humanity's gift. That was their strength, not in being the strongest or the smartest or the best, but in being too stubborn to quit, even when the universe itself said they should. He thought about everything he had learned. Kravik was stronger, faster, tougher. But Kravik had never lost, had never faced real desperation. He expected opponents to fight with honor, to follow rules. Tay had no intention of being honorable tomorrow. Earth didn't need a hero who fought fair. Earth needed a survivor who won by any means necessary. As sleep finally came, Tay made peace with what tomorrow might bring. He might die. Probably would die, but he would die fighting, refusing to surrender, showing every Valoran watching what human stubbornness really meant. The combat sphere awaited, and with it, the final test of whether one desperate human could stand against an alien empire's champion. Get some sleep, Tay said. You'll need your strength, Tay tried. But sleep didn't come easily. He kept thinking about Earth, about the Scourge, about all the people depending on him. He thought about Lyra's words, about how the Valorans needed to learn new ways to fight. Maybe that's what this trial really was. Not just a test for Tay, but a test for both species. Could they learn from each other? Could they adapt together? When dawn came, Tay was ready, or as ready as he could be. The endurance sphere awaited, and with it, a new kind of hell to survive. You can do this, Hana said. We can do this, Tay corrected. I'm not fighting alone. That night, Tay finally slept. He dreamed of Earth, of home, of all the people counting on him. When he woke, dawn was breaking over the crystal spires. It was time for the trial to begin.